Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's podcast episode. And I've got a fantastic guest for you today to talk about emotional resilience, Takiya LaShaune. And she's got a very fascinating story about faith and staying resilient. And she's got a interesting, your smile is your weapon, which I want to really delve down into, dissect that idea. So Takiya, welcome.
Hey, Dr. Lou, thank you so much for that warm welcome. I am just so honored to be here and appreciate this opportunity. Looking forward to a great conversation.
Yeah. So, we connected through Podmatch, and like I said, I'm always looking for guests that can resonate with the audience and help the audience. And so, talk about what you do, quick backstory, and how the audience can benefit from your wisdom.
All right, great. Well, just to introduce myself, I am a mother of two young adult children. Well, they're not children, they're young adults, but my kids. I'm a 25 plus year entrepreneur. I'll go into a little bit of my backstory about how I got into entrepreneurship, but I am also a 6-time published author. I am a mentor and a TV, radio, talk show, and now podcast host. As you mentioned, I launched a podcast January 18th, 2024 this year. Your Smile is Your Weapon, and we'll dig a little further into that and how I came up with that as well. But entrepreneurship, I got into entrepreneurship based off of resiliency, what we talk about today. I had my first child at the age of 21. As a single mom, and basically I have what's called that hustle gene. I had a hustle mentality. I was like, I got to figure it out. Somebody's got to take care of her, and that somebody has to be me. I started my first company at 21. It was a cleaning company. I had no prior experience in entrepreneurship, but I knew how to hustle and make money. And that business started when my daughter was 2 years old. And I ran that business for 10 years, and I grew it with a large employee database, and it's been on the ground and running ever since, just opening one business after the other based off of my struggles and resiliency.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating story, and I love this idea of this journey of hustle and entrepreneurship and just grit. It just kind of it's something very inspiring about it, and yeah, I mean, I was always trying to figure out ways where I didn't have to work for money, and I was always trying to think about ways to fire, a traditional job or boss, and so kind of bring it. So what I really am interested in is so this power of your smile, and it seems so basic, but it's also so powerful. So why is your smile your secret weapon?
Yeah, so that your smile is your weapon. And someone actually said that to me, and it resonated with me so much that it has evolved into something so powerful. Like you said, I was going through a really rough patch about 2 years ago, went through a divorce, and that divorce, my ex-husband actually ended up becoming a stalker. I'm the survivor of intimate partner stalking. And in the midst of that, I was really in a very deep and dark place. And I was at church one day, and this woman, unbeknownst to her, what I was enduring, what I was going through, she comes up to me and she says, I need you to keep smiling. Your smile is your weapon. You're beautiful. Don't stop smiling. And that just touched me so much because, again, she didn't know what I was going through. When you fast forward to the end of last year, November 2023, in the midst of this trial with my ex-husband, because he was actually arrested for these charges. And I had a nervous breakdown because I got some bad news in reference to that trial where his bond had been granted. And I finally, found myself at this place of feeling safe. And the moment I felt safe, it was like, oh, well, by the way, we're letting him out. And in the midst of that moment, I remember just pulling myself together, and I was looking at all my photos on social media, and I had fought so hard to get back to this place of just being happy through going through such a dark time. And all these photos showed me smiling, and I'm traveling, and I'm inspiring other people, and I'm running businesses, and I'm looking happy. But behind that smile was so much hurt and so much pain and so much darkness and so much turmoil. And I remember looking at those pictures and saying out loud, I said, God, I look so happy. I said, but if people only knew the truth behind this smile. And I heard that still small voice say, so tell them. And that's how the podcast was launched, because it's been said, a photo says, or a photo holds 1,000 words. Like, we see a photo and it's like, ooh, if we could tell the story of that. And we tend to look at the photo and judge the situation based off the photo. She's smiling, she's traveling, she's a successful entrepreneur. But the truth behind that smile was I was battling anxiety, I was battling depression, I was battling suicidal thoughts. And if you look at that picture, you would not have seen any of that. And so the premise of this podcast and your smile being your weapon, number one, when I got that affirmation from that woman, that complete stranger, she was telling me, you keep smiling because that is what's going to get you through. Like, when you smile, your whole face lights up. It does something for you. And you as a doctor probably can attest to this. It does something for us, for our bodies, and it's contagious. And so it's not to say to hide what's going on behind us. That's the premise of the podcast. But that smile was my way of showing that resiliency, that I may have gone through something, I may be enduring, but I'm still here. Life's not over. And I could take this pain and turn it into purpose. And my smile is truly the weapon that says, I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep pushing through this.
Yeah, and it's a wonderful story because like I said, I see sometimes on social media people posting pictures of them, let's say they've overcome like depression or something in like their current state, and then they post pictures, when they were suicidal, when they were smiling, and you can never it's very interesting because you can never tell. So so kind of, moving on is this smile, and you talk about showing radiant resilience and overcoming obstacles. And so how do you keep a positive outlook, when the world is, buckling under you? For a lot of us could be 2008, for us, a lot of others could be for the last, 4 years. How do you show radiance during these times?
For me, my anchor is my faith. As a believer, as a Christian, my foundation is in Christ. And I don't want that to sound just like a one-shot answer, because it's like, well, Takiya, what does that mean? What does your faith mean? And to me personally, it's that relationship. It's a safe space for me where I can draw to when I'm in those dark moments, knowing that I'm not in them alone. Maybe I can't see God or, physically touch him, but just my personal belief and knowing that he does exist, and knowing, reading my Bible or talking to someone, a friend that's of like faith, and having that encouragement in that community and that connection is something that helps to strengthen me. It's a personal relationship. And I really feel like that's been my anchor. And a lot of times also we want to isolate, when we go through things, we just most of us, many of us tend to isolate, and having community is something that's also important to me. Having those friendships, I can 100% say, in addition to my faith, if it was not for having friends and safe spaces and people that love me and want to see me succeed in every aspect of life, to call me and check in on me and go, hey, are you okay? Or, I just, earlier before this podcast, I got an audio call from a friend of mine. And she said, I'm just checking in on you. I know you're probably busy. I just, so having that community that just thinks about you. And that's something that I try to bring into what I do, because I recognize and realize that a lot of us don't have that. And that's another avenue of what I try to do with that podcast, is to just be that voice if it's just touches that one person. So that's been my anchor, is my faith and my relationship.
Yeah, and it's quite interesting, when you delve into the concept of faith, because I'm a spiritual person as well, and I have a background in Christianity, but I think faith is an interesting concept. And it's really interesting how, faith and then sometimes your intuition or your higher self or the universe, any of these things can, and they can help, soothe you. They can help guide you. That sometimes, when you feel like giving up, it can also like send help through other means and avenues and channels, which also brings me to, because you have another way to stay strong, is you empower other women through entrepreneurship. And so how has your experience as an entrepreneur and mentor helped shape your approach to empowering other women?
Oh my gosh, it's made me stronger. Like, my whole face lit up when you said that, because that's like pushing that activate button with me. Empowering, inspiring, helping other women it's been multifaceted, I will tell you. So number one, I learned, and this is the part of me that is still evolving and going through therapy and searching in my healing journey, that helping others has been a coping mechanism. Because a lot of times when we go through things, we realize we may not realize that we have a problem with sitting with ourselves, because when we sit with ourselves, then we have to sit with ourselves and deal with those things. And for me, I learned that, but it's been a good learning lesson, because I've had to sit with myself and learn, hey, Takiya, you got to deal with your own healing journey as well, and not just stay so busy trying to help everyone else. And so now that I've learned that, I know how to take time for myself. But on the other end, it is my life's purpose. With everything that I've gone through, I love seeing other women, not just women, everybody, humans, but my heart is for women, just helping see women overcome, endure, empower, just become who they were created to be, or find out who they were created to be. And so in entrepreneurship, again, everything that I've put my hands to in entrepreneurship has been born out of turning some sort of pain into a purpose. Well, I started, I launched a nonprofit, Heal Her. That launched based out of, finding out my daughter had a diagnosis with bipolar disorder, as well as me being homeless some years ago. And it was like, wow, what about the woman that doesn't have that community or those friends or the access to funds or finances to get what I've been given? So I started a nonprofit. Or even with my Takiya LaShaune salon, which is my beauty franchise, doing that and employing these women. What about the women that don't have on-the-job training or access to skills, or they want to open their own salon and spa, but they don't have the finances? All of these things are things I've gone through and I have endured, but I was blessed to come through that. And so that's me turning around and extending my hand and going, hey, here's my hand. I've walked through this. Take my hand. Now I want to walk you through this. And so those women that come work for me are getting on the job training, and they're being better for themselves and better for their children and their families and their communities. And then I teach them entrepreneurship. And not only do they, tap into what I'm doing in entrepreneurship, but now they become entrepreneurs. So to me, it's almost like modern day discipleship. I'm trained in a certain way and I teach people, and, lead by leading. And it fully evolves. And it is something that I feel so blessed and so accomplished when I can see that I've helped another woman or anyone else.
Yeah, really fascinating. And I love your passion, and I think we have a lot of individuals in the audience who would love to hear your story more. And how can they follow you on socials, reach out to you, and check out your work?
Yeah, so I made it super simple. Everything across social media, my TikTok, my Instagram, my Facebook, my website. You're just gonna at Your Smile Is Your Weapon. So that's it. You can find me. You can Google search me, Takiya LaShaune, but if you plug in Your Smile Is Your Weapon, you're gonna pull up everything, including the podcast.
I love that. And for all the audience, let's thank Takiya for coming on and sharing her story and talking about resilience and staying strong with faith. And be sure to give her socials a like and follow. And thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been an honor.